Now I will give practical example about cookies so that you can understand it well. So let's do a project, mini project. For example, I am going to give a HTML form, and here I am just going to call a form. Okay, so here first what I am going to do, I am going to give a username and password. I am going to username it vote system. Okay, so I am going to make a voting system simply. So for example, in order to show the data well, so trtd I am going to use here. For example, select person, this one, and td is another one, and here I put the select variable. Okay, here I use the select. So here I give the option. So option is, for example, this is person 1, this is person 2. I give here another name, and I give here another name. Total 3 persons are here. So the value of it is this, the value of this is this one, and the value of this is this one. So here I am going to give the name person, and this one will be submitted. Okay, so tr, then td, and then td, input, submit, and here name equal to, for example, here form 1 will be the name, value equal to submit. So I am going to give a voting system, to make a voting system. Okay, so select person to vote. So you can just select a person to vote him, but remember that in one particular day you can only give a vote to one person. After you're giving vote, you cannot vote the person again. So what you can do it, I am going to open the browser, and here refresh, you will see that it is telling me select person to vote. So I will select a person here and then submit. If I do that, what will happen? If I do that, the form will be submitted, and in the top, for example, in the top section, I am going to call if then is set. But here I am going to do one thing, that is when someone will try to set, for example, for 24 hours it will be saved here. So here I will give a variable, for example, person. What will be the value? The value is what I will get using this person variable. That means here what I can do, instead of this I can call a request variable, and here I can pass the information, that is person, and this is cookie variable person. For example, pr, I give the name pr. Okay, and the request from which it is coming, that is using this variable, so person. This is here. In this way the set cookie will be here, but first time when the form will be loaded, actually there will be no cookie. So here I am going to give here if is set, then request. Okay, so if is set, or here I can call if is set post of form 1. So then the cookie I will show him here. So if a person select a person, and if a visitor select a person from here and click on the submit button, then this form will work, right? So post of form 1, and then the cookie will be set into here. And when there will be a value into the cookie, when a cookie will be set, what I will do, I will get a value in the cookie variable. So here the total form I will get into a variable. For example, here I am going to check if not is set. That means if the cookie variable, so cookie variable of pr is the cookie variable. So if not is set this, then only this form will be shown. So here I am going to call PHP, and here it can tell else. Okay, and after that I will call end if like this, and here will be you already have given vote to which person. The cookie variable is in my hand now, so I can easily give it to here. You already have given vote to this person. So here this will be a PHP tag, because I am going to write the PHP variable, and this will be echo. So you already have given vote to you, please come here after 24 hours. So let's check it if it is working or not. I am going to here, I am going to refresh. If I go to check the cookie inspect element, you will see that first time in the storage cookies there is nothing, but if you refresh there will also be nothing. Now I will give a vote to a person, for example Peter. I give a vote to him, submit. So it comes cookie, you see that the person is showing here, so a cookie is set, but first time it is not showing. If you go to refresh it again, then only it will be shown that you already have given vote to Peter. It is working, but you see that the form is not coming here now because you already have given vote to him. I am manually going to do the same thing again. So what I am going to do, I am going to inspect element, manually I am going to remove it. So a storage, then go here, then go to delete all the data. You see that after the submitting form the first time, it was showing. Why it was showing? Because when you set the cookie here like this, after the cookie the form was actually showing. So I will have to reload the page. So here I am going to call header location, then index.php again. So the form will be load from the beginning again. So now I am going to do same thing, refresh. You see that there is no cookie now. Now if I give a vote, let's go here, I give a vote to Smith. So click on submit, it is coming now in the first attempt. That means a redirection has been happened. Now if you redirect, you will not be able to show the form. So in this way you can use the cookie easily in your practical example. I hope you have understood how I have done it, how I have done this. Here I am going to create a index1.php file. I am going to copy all the code from here and paste it into the index.php file. I will show you another example. So I back up the code into another file. Now I am going to do code again. So what I will do, I will make a login system here. So for example, form post, and here I am going to give a form table trtd. For example, username I will have to give here, then td input text, and here I am going to remove it. This is for example the username, right? So here username variable I am going to give here. Then there is password, I am going to give here a password, and here type will be password, and the name will be also password here, for example. And then tr, then td, then td, here input will be submit, and here name equal to form1. So value will be here submit or login. So this is the index.php. My secret page, that will be for example index, for example welcome.php is my secret page. If there is no value in a separate cookie, this page will not be shown. For example, the cookie value we know. So here I am going to give if is set which variable? Cookie variable. The cookie variable data is for example un. So that means if not is set, I am going to give here not is set this, or not is set the cookie variable. This data is for example password, so pw, for example this two will be my variable. If there is nothing in the un has no value, that means there is no cookie variable by the name un or no cookie variable by the name pw, anyone, if there is no variable for any of these, then it will be redirected. So I will be redirected to the header location login. Here index actually is my login page, so index.php it will be redirected. So this is for the security of this page. Now I will check if everything is okay, right? So what will happen, that means else, if everything is okay here, else I will check, that means I have the value in the cookie un and pw now. So if here I will check another thing, if the un of cookie, this un equal to rfin, and I am going to check this cookie, that is pw equal to 1 2 3 4, then I will show the user the, here will be some PHP code ending. I am going to end the PHP code, and here I will give some HTML. So welcome to dashboard, okay, and here I go to give a logout page. So logout, here you can easily create a logout.php page that I will show later, but for now let's check if this thing is okay. Now what I am going to do, I am going to directly call, I have index.php is okay, for now I will do that, but the inner page, that is welcome.php, if you hit that, it is going to back you to the index.php page. That means you are not able to directly see this page. Enter, you are back to the index.php page, because what is going to be happen, actually there is no value in the cookie un and pw, so it is not showing you that. And you see that if the cookie un rfin and this match, then this will happen, and if not, that means the cookie has value un and password, username and password has in the cookie, but that does not mean with this particular value, then you also be logged out into index.php page, you will be go there, okay. So now let's back to the home page, and here I am going to do code. So here username and password, you see that there are two variables, username and password. I want to log in, but here I am going to give another one, that is remember. I question to the user if he want to remember this or not, and here I am going to give input checkbox. So here I am going to give name and value. So for example, the default value, if you check, that will be 1, otherwise it will be 0 or something like that. So here I am going to give the name check. So here if I do that, what will be happened when this form will be submitted, I am going to the top of the page, that means I am going to write a PHP page, if is set, that is post, so post of form on, if is set, that means if the form is submitted, then I will check the username and password, I will just put those into the cookie, right? So I will just username and password, so I am going to on the cookie, that means save data here, so I am going to copy this, okay. So here in the index.php I will set cookie, that is username un, that will be the request of username, right, this one. Another one will be password, so pw, and here this name password I will give here, because the password will come using this request variable here. So the cookie is set, right? So as the cookie is set, I can easily log into that page, and it will redirect me to where? To the login page, that means the welcome.php page. But I will have to check if is set form, this is okay. Now I am going to check it, if the request of username, before going to set the cookie, I can do one thing, that is for the validation, if the request of username not equal to rfin and request name is not equal to rfin, or the request of password not equal to 1 2 3 4, it will be redirected to the home page, that means you cannot log in. So it will be in header location index.php, else means this information is okay, or you can do it another way. I am going to show you it another way for the better understanding. If the username and password, here I will have to use the AND condition. You already know about those. If those are okay, then I will set cookie. So like this. Otherwise, I am going to redirect this user back to here and the cookie will not be set. And if everything is set, I will take him to the welcome page. So here location, it will be welcome.php page. Okay. So let's check it. I am not going to work with the check this value now. First going to check it if login system works. Okay. So here like this. Now let's check. I am going here, refresh. You see that first time it comes. If I give something different, click on login, it will not work. And if I go to the page source, if I go, I am going to the Firefox browser, it will be helpful. Okay, so if I click on login, it will not work. If I give something other than Arifin and 1 2 3 4, it will also not work, right? So here what I can do, I am going to inspect the variable, and here the storage. Here you see that this is actually Moz extension comes. I am going to delete. Okay, here you see that the PR, it is actually the previous value. So delete all. I am going to delete all. Okay, so refresh. In the cookie, here is no value. Now I am going to give a bad thing. Click on login. Here never save, it is disturbing. So here I am going to set. You see that the cookie is not set and the user cannot log in. If I try to log in using the welcome now, welcome, you also back to the index.php. So it is actually not working. But if I give it to Arifin and 1 2 3 4 is the password, then login, you will see that you are now to the welcome.php page. That means it is working. And when I am going to log out from here, you see that logout page. So I am going to create a logout.php, and in the logout page what I will do, I will destroy the cookie. You know that in order to destroy the cookie, I have this. So here I am going to call this one, that will be username un, and another one will be password, that is pw. And after that I will back to the home page, that means location of index.php in this page. So let's do it. Refresh it. If I click on logout, then you cannot back to the welcome PHP. If you click here, you see that logout is done. I go to see cookie, the cookie is reset. And now if I want to enter the welcome, I cannot do that again. So again going to show you Arifin 1 2 3 4. If I click on login, if I go to the cookie, you see that in the pw and un, two data are inserted. Un is equal to Arifin, this cookie are reset. And when I am log out, you see that in the cookie the data are removed and you cannot log in. That means now if you go to the welcome.php, you cannot go there. So in this way we can easily work with the login system using the cookie in PHP. Here is another thing that I showed you, that is remember me, right? So remember. So if you give the check mark, what will happen here? I am going to check it. For example, I am going to make it commented, and I am going to check it what is in my value for the check. So here I am going to check echo, this will be check. The check is actually the user defined, where I give the name CHK. I am going to give CHK. Okay, so CHK is the name, so here you will have to use this. Now I am going here, I am going to refresh. Now click on login. The value of check is undefined key. Okay, no problem, I will solve it. If I put the tick mark login, nothing is coming. Check, here I will have to give a value, for example 1. So if I give here a put tick mark, So I am going here again, refresh, resend, for example this one, tick mark, login, one is coming. Okay, but when I am not giving anything here, that means I am not giving to put tick mark. Then if I click on login, undefined key, in order to fix this issue that is showing the undefined, what I can do, I am going to close this LastPass extension. So I have removed the extension. Now it is not disturbing. Okay, so here if I put the tick mark, this is okay, but if not put the tick mark, then what will happen? I am going to do one trick here, that is I am going to call a hidden field here, that is name and value. The value I will give here by default 0, so that no undefined thing will happen, it will not be shown in front of user. This is a hidden field. Okay, so now I am going to here refresh. You see that if I do not put tick mark, the value is 0, and if I put tick mark, then the value is 1. Okay, so it is working. Now what I will do, if someone put the tick mark, so that means I am going back and going back to the previous code, and here I will set here also that tick mark into a variable, that is CHK for example, and this will be request of CHK check mark. So here this will be also into a set cookie, and if the person set it into a cookie, then next time what will be happen, if we come to this browser again, here I can easily tell that it will be remembered or not. So in that case I will do one thing, in the logout I will not reset that will be saved. Okay, so here I am going to do, that is if the check mark is 1, that means if the check mark has value, so what I can do here, I can call a value. So if it is checked or not, so here I am going to call if the cookie, if the cookie has a value, if is set, then I am going to give cookie, if is set cookie of CHK, if that, then what will happen, then if the CHK, that means cookie of CHK equal 1, then it will be only checked, that means echo checked. So it is actually something, there is error. I am going to check if is set cookie CHK, and then if cookie CHK equal to 1, output unexpected. Here this one comes here, and extra here is actually if is set cookie, here I will have to give this one, I missed it. Now if is set 2 bracket here. Okay, the last one will be error, no, that will be error here, but here is another one. I am going to hit multiple lines in order to understand, otherwise it is very hard to understand. Here is no bracket. Okay, so I missed the last bracket here, so this is the last bracket, and if the cookie, then actually this will be happen, right? So now this one is this bracket and like this. Okay, so now what will happen, if there is no cookie set, but if I put the tick mark and log in, you see that it will not work. But when I will log in with the correct value, RFIN 1234, then I put tick mark and click on login, it is here. Now log out, you see that the tick mark is here, right? So refresh, you see that the tick mark is working. So again RFIN 1234, I unset the tick mark and then log in, then log out, you see that the tick mark has gone. So it is working. And if there is a tick mark, what will happen, the username and password that is in the cookie will be shown here. So if the tick mark is given, you can also control the username and password by this way, if that will be shown here or not. So in that case you can do another logic. I am not going to proceed with that. Just I have shown you how to work with the cookies here. If you want to remember these things, that in that time you will have to give another condition and set the username and password to another variable. That will not be a logged in variable, that is just to show that into the box. So you can do that easily. So I am not going to that. Just I hope you have understood the main logic how I have worked with the cookie in this tutorial.